Hey, what is happening, you pickled pig night? Today, gonna be taking a look at some cards that were revealed last week. They'll be coming out in Japan's Ruler of the Black Flame set that'll release on July 28th, and then we'll be getting them. The rest of the world will be getting them in Obsidian Flames that releases, I believe, on August 11th. Don't quote me on that. It's a rough estimate that I'm drawing from my memory right now, so I'm not exactly sure when we're gonna be getting these cards, but Obsidian Flames is definitely the set, and I think August 11th will be the day it will be released. But speaking of new cards, if you guys need anything from the Paldea Evolved set that just released, Full Grip Games has got you covered. Singles and sealed products available right now over at fullgripgames.com. A link, of course, will be in the description for you to easily head over there and check it all out. And anything you buy over there on fullgripgames.com does directly support me over here on the stream, or the YouTube channel and the stream, and everything else I do in the Pokemon TCG space. So check them out, fullgripgames.com, if you need anything from the Paldea Evolved set. And let's jump right into these cards. First, we've got the Ice-Q EX. So the big thing with these cards is this is kind of how we're getting the full effect of the terrestrialization mechanic that's in the video game, where it's basically you can change Pokemon's types in the video game. We're finally kind of seeing that take form here in the TCG, as we have the Ice-Q, and I wonder if they'll do a little bit more with this, like with maybe some trainer cards, where trainer cards affect terrestrialization Pokemon differently, maybe like tool cards, like if this is attached to a terrestrialization Pokemon, or this supporter can gust up a terrestrialization Pokemon, something like that. Now the terrestrialization attribute or whatever that's on the Pokemon, all of the terrestrialization Pokemon have this, as long as this Pokemon is on your bench. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from both yours and your opponent's Pokemon. So we've already seen a couple terrestrialization. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I'm sure someone's going to correct me in the comments. Terra Pokemon. What's called Terra? We've already seen a couple Terra Pokemon, like the Arcanine had the Terra attribute, was a Terra Pokemon. But now we're finally seeing kind of what they're kind of giving us fully with the Terra Pokemon in the Pokemon TCG. This is an Ice-Q EX, which is normally water type, but is now fire type. But its attack does remain costing water energy. So for 3 water energy, do 160 damage, discard an energy for this Pokemon. The defending Pokemon can't attack during your opponent's next turn. And then with the type switch, it also gets a weakness switch, so now it's weak to water. So this doesn't really add or change too much in the Pokemon TCG the way it does affect the video game, because the Pokemon company, or whoever makes the cards, could kind of put any stats on any card they wanted, and they're balancing the game around those stats. So it doesn't really, like, this being a thing in the Pokemon TCG doesn't really do anything unless they start to add maybe some trainer cards that specifically affect Terra Pokemon. So that's like the big thing that we could see eventually, is the Terra Pokemon get maybe other Pokemon with abilities that only affect Terra Pokemon or interact with Terra Pokemon, and same thing with some trainer cards. So that would be like the real way that this actually takes a bigger effect in the Pokemon TCG. But like, they could have printed a fire Pokemon with 210 HP that had a water energy attack cost that was weak to water, right? Like, that's not, like, it's not limited to having to be revolved around a Terra Pokemon, right? And then the attack, we already went over the attack. With the attack, I don't think this card is very good. The only thing that I could see this card getting involved in would be some kind of Excalibur deck to potentially take advantage of the type of fire. But Chien-Pao already 1-hit KOs everything in the format anyways, so I don't really see a need to be able to 1-hit KO something specifically with a fire type Pokemon that is weak to fire. The only other cool thing about the attack is we do sometimes see attacks like this, or like paralysis, be able to be abused to kind of slow decks down. But once again, if you're playing this like in a Excalibur deck, you probably have Chien-Pao, and instead of slowing your opponent down and stopping them from being able to attack for a turn, why not just 1-hit KO their Pokemon with Chien-Pao? So this Ice-Q, I don't think it's going to be very good at all. Now, the other two, though, I think there is definitely some hope for these last two EXs we're going to take a look at. First one is the Ttar EX, 340 HP, has the Terra attribute, of course, and then for 1 fighting, does 120 damage. You do discard the top 2 cards of your deck, which is pretty annoying. Like, that's discarding your own cards with any attack is just annoying. It's just like, it feels terrible. But 120 for 1 fighting is solid. Turn 2, Candy out of Ttar, 120 for 1 fighting, KOing basically any non-2 prize Pokemon in the game. Just take it out of play, get a prize card, get aggressive. And then the follow-up attack, Tool Rampage, 150 damage. If any of your bench Pokemon have any damage counters on them, this attack does 100 more damage. So 250 for 2 fighting, that's pretty solid. 340 HP is a lot. I say this every time we look at some of these new EX Pokemon. Their HP on these stage 2 EXs is absurd. 340 HP for only a 2 prize Pokemon is absolutely insane. That is a ton of HP. However, we've been seeing that these 2 prize or even the stage 2 or even stage 1 EX Pokemon can't quite keep up with the power level of some of the V-Stars and stuff like Lost Zone stuff still. So we're still probably a rotation away from maybe seeing this Ttar actually be solid. But I don't know, 120 KOs most things in Lost Box, and once you get that first Ttar set up, you're doing 120, carrying pretty much everything in Lost Box that's relevant, and then you do have 340 HP, and Lost Zone decks don't like things with too much HP. It can get really annoying to deal with. So I don't know, maybe there is some hope for Ttar in the near future, even on release, where this deck could start to have have some impact on the metagame. We'll have to wait and see. And then the big card coming out of this set is, of course, the Charizard EX. And the reason this card scares me is not because it seems like it's going to be an inherently broken card, you know, tier 1 deck, tier S deck, 30% of the meta type deck that we've seen a lot recently in the recent years in the Pokemon TCG, but it's Charizard. It's also a dark Charizard. And yeah, collectors are going to be wanting this card for sure. So I'm hoping there's 2, 3, even 4 other art printings of this card. So us, the competitive players, don't have to worry about the base Charizard EX's price being massive. I'm talking like 30, 40, even more. Like right now, Chi and Pao EX, which is like the most relevant EX out of how they evolved, is like $10. Charizard, I could see getting up there for sure. It's going to be high demand from collectors. And it does seem like it is a pretty decent card as well. So it is another Terra Pokemon. Charizard's usually Fire type. This is a Dark type. It's got the Terra attribute. And then Infernal Control. When you play this card from your hand to evolve a Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 3 basic Fire energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. That is some pretty powerful acceleration, energy acceleration. And we've seen this before on cards in the past, but they're usually not paired with such a powerful attack. Burning Darkness, 180 plus 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken for 2 fire energy. It's pretty reasonable attack cost. Of course, with the Infernal Control, you're accelerating 3 fire energy into play, so it's going to be no problem to be setting up like a turn 2 Charizard EX. You got the Candy Charizard, boom, you're ready to go. You're swinging for 180, and then as the game progresses, you're getting to that point where, you know, if your opponent's drawn 4 prize cards, you're doing 300 damage. They've drawn 5 prize cards, you're doing 330. You're hitting those big one-hit KO potential numbers on other stage 2 EX Pokemon. So the Charizard EX, I think it actually seems pretty solid. And also, it doesn't have to be your only attacker in the deck, because you can accelerate 3 fire energy and attachment to your Pokemon in any way you like. So there's a lot of potential to play a ton of different fire Pokemon in a Charizard EX deck, and then Charizard kind of be, you know, one of your solid attackers, but also your late game attacker as well, while you attack in your early game with a bunch of other stuff. I've been saying this like every single set release, I feel like, at this point. New fire Pokemon come out, and I'm like, okay, here's another cool fire Pokemon with a cool attack. It's an interesting Pokemon, but I don't think we have enough different fire Pokemon yet. We have Magma Basin, we have the Armor Rouge to make some kind of firebox type deck. I don't think we're quite there yet, but now we got this Charizard EX coming out, and it's like, okay, I think with the Charizard EX, this might be enough. You probably won't play Armor Rouge anymore. It's kind of a feels bad for Armor Rouge. Like, Armor Rouge has been here for a little while. Probably not going to see any play at all competitively, and then the Charizard comes out, because there's no reason to like move your energy around. We can just accelerate them into play wherever you want. Just don't mess up and put them in the wrong spots, and you should be good. Magma Basin, of course, would still be a card you'd probably include in a Charizard EX deck. Extra energy acceleration, even if you're taking 2 damage counters from a stadium card, is just too powerful to ignore. So Armor Rouge probably wouldn't be played with this, but you get all those different little fire attackers that I've been talking about for the last 2, 3, 4 set releases, where it's like, okay, another fire attacker, we have Magma Basin, we have Armor Rouge. Oh, another fire attacker, we have Magma Basin, we have Armor Rouge. We're not quite there yet, but with Charizard, I think we finally might be there, and a firebox might be ready to go. Hopefully Charizards aren't like $50, $60 though. Those collectors go crazy, man. Hopefully not. Last up, we got one more Pokemon and then a couple trainers to talk about. We got the Mawile with the Special Eater ability. When you place Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, during your turn, you may discard a special energy card from your opponent's active Pokemon. So we've had this pretty much exact ability. I don't know if it was called Special Eater. It probably wasn't. That seems like a Mawile exclusive ability type name. But we've had a Pokemon with this exact same ability before, the Giratina. I forget what set it was from. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to try and guess. But pretty sure the Giratina could discard special energy from anywhere on your opponent's side of the field. And also we had Scoop Up Net at the time, so you could like use it, reset it, use it again, so on and so forth. So you're not going to be able to get that same effect with the Mawile, but I do think the Mawile is still potentially pretty good as like a tech Pokemon in the future. Could be pretty good actually up against Lugia specifically. So you could like go play Iono, plus use Mawile to remove their gift energy. But of course, you could always still be just playing Temple of Sinnoh. So I guess like it kind of depends on, you know, if you have the room for the stadiums. But Mawile will be a little bit easier to find, of course, because you can like Ultra Ball for it and stuff like that. So that could be like a cool combo. Mawile gets rid of the gift energy. You play Iono. You knock out their whatever attacker you're knocking out against the Lugia deck. They don't get to draw much off gift. They lose the game, so on and so forth. Temple of Sinnoh can do the same thing, obviously. And then there's one more thing I was going to say, but I completely forgot. Oh, you can also remove V-Guard energy as well to make it getting those knockouts potentially a little bit easier. So that's like where I could see Mawile seeing some amount of play, would be as kind of like a nice little tech card up against Lugia matchups. And I'm sure it'll see some more play in the future as well. Pretty powerful ability overall. Obviously not like a, yeah, pretty powerful. Like, it's pretty powerful overall. It's not going to be like played in every tier 1 deck or anything like that. Couple trainers, Poppy here. Move 2 energy from one of your Pokemon to another of your Pokemon. Pretty situational supporter. Could see some play in a potential top tier deck now and then throughout the meta. Same thing with Letter of Encouragement. Nothing too strong here. You can play this card only if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Search deck for up to 3 basic energy cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. So I just don't know what deck would actually want to play this. The only thing that comes to mind is Qian Pao, but Qian Pao's ability literally searches energy out of the deck, and then once you just get a decent amount of energy in the discard pile through searching them out of the deck with the Qian Pao, you can just use Irida for energy retrieval or superior energy retrieval to get the energy out of your discard pile. Maybe you'd play like 1 Letter of Encouragement, so that way in the early game when they take an initial knockout, you can go Qian Pao plus Letter of Encouragement and fully thin all the energy out of your deck. And then from there, you can more easily get to your energy retrievals. But I feel like Qian Pao does a decent job of that. So anything right now, I don't see this being good in. I don't see the Letter of Encouragement being good in anything right now. But definitely in the future, we could see something like that. I'm definitely interested to see what else we get from this set. So definitely going to be keeping you guys updated with any more reveals from Ruler of the Black Flame. I'm sure there's like another, Japan usually has like 2 set releases at the same time, so there should be another set coming out alongside Ruler of the Black Flame over in Japan. I have no idea what it is, but I'm definitely excited to see what else they come up with us for, you know, Ruler of the Black Flame, the other set, Obsidian Flames. What are they going to do with Terra Pokemon fully? We don't really know yet. Also, there's a Reveroom on the last pack art here, which is interesting. They have Charizard, Tyranitar. We haven't seen the Dragonite yet, so I'm definitely interested to see what the Dragonite does. And then there's just a Reveroom. Why is there a Reveroom here? What? All right. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a like. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to subscribe. Catch you all in the next one. Peace.